Well, here we are, week 4 in our Strategic Communicators Toolkit. Now, I think before formally beginning this week's topic, we're all due at this point a brief but very earnest congratulations for landing here together and following through as we have with all prior readings and exercises. So feel free to pat yourselves on the back. We should certainly realize by now that we have broken new ground over the course of the last month in the field of professional and strategic communication, looking at how managing projects and practices requires us at a fundamental level to be expert facilitators. Well, this week we're going to step back a bit and see how all the concepts and ideas that we've studied and discussed together can be brought together to improve our general ability to take charge in a team situation and direct the skills and resources we may have at our disposal towards specific ends or specific concentrations. And that means taking a look at how all of these skills, all of these topics that we've explored together really is, in one way, a method for improving our ability to be better leaders in team situations. And that's our topic this week, leadership. Okay, well, throughout the course, much emphasis has been placed on the collective nature of each of our assignments and the various discussion topics we've been participating in order to emphasize how good project contributors, whether we're working in a supervisory capacity or just simply a participant, are especially adept at communicating in a concentrated yet also authoritative fashion to diverse audiences. And at the same time, they're able to provide very effective feedback whenever possible. We've seen in each of these cases, accordingly, that communication is dynamic and profoundly interactive. Now, our last topic is going to focus on how all these situations inevitably demand strong leadership skills. It's a mandate that rarely refers to the mere execution of administrative tasks and duties. Instead, the aims here are to provide inspiration within the team or collective you may be working. And at the same time, you're going to be making sure that any ideas you want to develop are firmly based upon the strengths and the fortes you perceive in the people around you. Leadership also requires us to have courage to define boundaries. And when we don't see the strengths we think should be there, we need to be able to provide the direction that might be lacking. So let's begin by defining exactly what we mean by the term leader. I'll make it easy. I'm sure we can all define an array of different roles or titles we've come across in our various jobs or professions. We've heard manager, program manager, project manager. If we work in software, I'm sure we've met a few scrum masters in our day. Various kinds of leads happen to be in our environment. Tech leads, perhaps, or test leads, infrastructure leads, etc. If you're responsible for folks working together towards a common goal, then I believe no matter what you call yourselves, you're first and foremost a leader. If there's a single division between different styles or positions of leadership in a project, though, I'm going to emphasize for this week those that typically face outwards, that's various stakeholders outside the project being developed, and then there's going to be those that focus conversely on managing the core team itself. Now, this doesn't mean we're looking at two different people. Often one person does both, but we are looking at two different focuses with two different aims, and we'll need to look at that specifically as we move through this week's goals. So regardless of these two different focuses, leadership principles commonly require us to prioritize individuals, including how we interact with each other, over mere processes and tools. Now, this point may seem self-explanatory. I mean, who among us doesn't recognize the essential value in any project of having skilled and capable team members over a lot of expensive technology? Well, the very fact that we often overestimate just how efficiently or adroitly these team members have been outfitted with enough time, and sufficient resources to accomplish the work assigned can mean that maybe we're not quite as focused on the human element as we like to think we are. Now, I'm betting none of us would enjoy being identified as a micromanager. We'd probably take pride in how quickly and easily we allow our coworkers to take on tasks independently. One of our discussion topics this last week here is going to actually center upon various techniques in determining the right amount of autonomy that individuals need to achieve their goals, but also when and how to offer guidance to help direct these tasks. So the tools we look at this week are actually going to come second to the methods that enable us to build the projects around us, specifically around motivated individuals, and then give them the environment and the support they need to get the job done. In other words, trust itself among colleagues within specific professional environments stands out as a key element in the literal planning stages of our projects. So trust isn't a quality that develops as a result of a successful project. No, actually trust is knowing precisely whom your people are and their respective strengths and skills as a determining factor when we're actually deciding the kinds of projects we want to develop. And you'll look around at the people around you, and that's what's going to tell you what kind of projects you want to develop. The second key point of focus this week begins simply by acknowledging that the world we continue to live and work in is not just fast-paced, but constantly changing. And these two qualities need to be considered intelligently if the team we're leading is to be consistently effective and productive. So teams never stay static. That's one of the things we're going to be looking at quite early on this week. It's usually the last quality, this staticness, that you want when you're working collectively on any project. Good leaders we'll see are able to direct their teams through many levels of maturity. We'll look specifically at some of the more contemporary theories regarding patterns of team development and how these patterns can be appropriated usefully with social media. So you're going to learn social media and augmented reality technologies to help you organize and manage group situations. And the second learning goal is looking at leadership skills that are established via communication and collaboration techniques. And we'll be particularly emphasizing agile project management methods. Might even mention Bruce Tuckman and his 4 stages of development within a team project. That's forming, storming, norming, and performing. You'll be engaging with established augmented reality tools like Aurasma, creating augmented reality experiences for the screen while using videos, information catalogs, models, and other teaching aids to design and promote a project campaign of your choice. And once it's finished, we'll be ready to open up and become the project team leader that we need to be in order to get the job done. All right. I'm looking forward to this week's technologies, but more importantly, I'm looking forward to actually learning how to look at the human element in team management and put that to work. Onward we go.